How to become socially smart and stop feeling awkward. Many people believe that social confidence is something you are born with. They assume that outgoing people naturally know what to say, how to make others laugh, and how to fit into every conversation. The reality is very different. Social intelligence is a skill, not a personality trait. It can be learned, practiced, and improved, just like driving, cooking, or learning a new language. Feeling awkward usually has very little to do with your actual social ability. Most of the time, it comes from becoming trapped inside your own thoughts. Instead of paying attention to the conversation, you start monitoring yourself. You wonder whether you sound intelligent, whether people are judging you, whether your jokes are funny enough, or whether you should have said something different. The more attention you place on yourself, the less attention you give to the people around you, and conversations become harder. Social intelligence is the opposite of self-obsession. It is the ability to understand what people are feeling, communicate clearly, adapt naturally to different situations, and make others feel comfortable. Truly socially intelligent people are not trying to impress everyone. They are trying to understand everyone. The good news is that awkwardness is not permanent. It is usually the result of habits that can be replaced with better ones. Once you understand how conversations actually work and how people respond emotionally, your confidence begins to grow naturally. Understand that every conversation has two goals. Many people think the purpose of conversation is exchanging information. In reality, information is only part of it. Every conversation has two goals. The first goal is sharing ideas. The second goal is making the other person feel respected, heard, and understood. Imagine talking to someone who gives perfect factual answers but never smiles, never asks questions, never reacts emotionally, and never shows interest. Even though they communicate information accurately, the interaction feels uncomfortable. Now imagine someone who genuinely listens, responds naturally, remembers details, and shows curiosity. Even if they are not the smartest person in the room, people usually enjoy talking to them much more. This means that improving your social skills is not about finding better words. It is about creating better experiences for other people. When you shift your attention from "how do I look" to "how can I make this conversation enjoyable," your awkwardness begins to disappear. Stop trying to sound interesting. One of the biggest mistakes people make is believing they need to constantly impress others. This creates pressure. Pressure makes you think too much before speaking. Overthinking slows conversations and makes your responses feel unnatural. Instead of trying to become the most interesting person, become the most interested person. People naturally enjoy conversations where someone is curious about their experiences, opinions, hobbies, and ideas. Ask thoughtful questions, but do not treat conversations like interviews. Build on what people say. If someone mentions they recently traveled somewhere, instead of immediately talking about your own vacation, ask what surprised them most about the place. If someone talks about their career, ask what they enjoy most rather than asking only about job titles. Interesting conversations usually come from exploring one topic deeply instead of jumping quickly between many topics. Listen to understand, not to reply. Many awkward conversations happen because both people are waiting for their turn to speak. While someone is talking, your brain starts preparing your response. You stop listening halfway through. Socially intelligent people delay their response. They let the other person finish completely. They notice emotions, tone of voice, facial expressions, and pauses. Sometimes the most important message is not hidden inside the words, but inside how the words are delivered. When people feel understood, they naturally become more open. Ironically, becoming a better listener often makes people think you are also a better speaker. Learn the power of comfortable silence. Many people fear silence. The moment there is a 3-second pause, they rush to fill it with random words. However, confident people understand that silence is not automatically awkward. Sometimes people are thinking. Sometimes they are processing information. Sometimes they simply enjoy the moment. If you become comfortable with brief pauses, you appear calmer and more confident. You also give yourself time to think before speaking, which usually improves the quality of your responses. Do not confuse silence with failure. Often, the person who stays relaxed during silence controls the emotional pace of the conversation. Speak slightly slower. Anxiety speeds everything up. People who feel nervous often talk faster, breathe faster, interrupt themselves, and rush through explanations. Speaking slightly slower creates several advantages. Your ideas become clearer. You make fewer mistakes. People understand you more easily. Most importantly, your own brain receives the signal that there is no emergency. Confidence is often communicated through pace rather than volume. There is no need to speak loudly. Speak clearly. Pause naturally. Finish each thought before beginning another. People usually trust speakers who appear calm rather than rushed. Stop trying to eliminate every mistake. Many socially anxious people believe that one awkward sentence ruins an entire interaction. This belief creates perfectionism. The truth is that almost nobody remembers your small mistakes. People forget awkward moments surprisingly quickly because they're busy thinking about themselves. Confident people say the wrong words. They forget names. They tell jokes that fail. They occasionally misunderstand something. The difference is that they recover immediately. Instead of apologizing repeatedly or becoming embarrassed, they smile, correct themselves, and continue. Social intelligence includes recovering gracefully, not avoiding every mistake. Improve your emotional awareness. People rarely remember exact conversations. They remember how interactions made them feel. This is why emotional awareness matters so much. Pay attention to changes in people's energy. Notice when someone becomes excited about a topic. Notice when they become uncomfortable. Notice when they seem tired or distracted. Adapting your communication to another person's emotional state is far more valuable than delivering perfect sentences. Sometimes someone needs advice. Sometimes they simply need someone to listen. Knowing the difference is a major part of social intelligence. Master simple body language. Your body communicates before your words do. Maintain natural eye contact without staring. Keep your shoulders relaxed. Avoid crossing your arms constantly. Face the person instead of turning away. Smile when it feels genuine rather than forcing it. Nod occasionally to show understanding. Avoid checking your phone during conversations unless absolutely necessary. These small habits quietly communicate attention and respect. Body language should never feel like acting. Instead, think of it as removing physical habits that accidentally create distance. Learn to read the flow of conversation. Good conversations have rhythm. Sometimes one person speaks longer. Sometimes the other person does. Healthy conversations naturally move back and forth. If you notice that you have been speaking for several minutes without inviting the other person into the discussion, pause and ask for their opinion. If you realize the other person has been talking continuously, wait for a natural opening before contributing. Conversation is cooperation rather than competition. The goal is not winning attention. The goal is sharing it. Become better at starting conversations. Many people wait for perfect opening lines. They do not exist. Simple observations usually work better than clever introductions. Talk about the situation you both share. Comment on something happening around you. Ask genuine questions that encourage longer answers instead of questions that can be answered with one word. Avoid trying to sound impressive immediately. People usually remember authenticity more than originality. The beginning of a conversation should create comfort, not entertainment. Learn how to continue conversations. Starting conversations is easier than maintaining them. The secret is curiosity. Every answer contains several possible directions. Instead of changing topics immediately, stay with the current one. Ask why. Ask how. Ask what happened next. Share related experiences briefly without making the conversation entirely about yourself. Think of conversations as exploring a path instead of jumping randomly between disconnected subjects. Depth creates connection. Constant topic changes create distance. Stop comparing yourself to extroverts. Extroversion and social intelligence are not the same thing. Some extroverts speak constantly but struggle to understand others. Some introverts speak less but communicate exceptionally well. You do not need to become louder. You do not need to become the center of attention. Your goal is to become easier to connect with. Many people actually prefer calm, thoughtful conversations over highly energetic ones. Build your communication style around your personality instead of copying someone else's. Confidence grows faster when it feels authentic. Handle disagreements without creating conflict. Being socially smart does not mean agreeing with everyone. It means disagreeing respectfully. Instead of saying someone is wrong immediately, first acknowledge their perspective, then explain your reasoning calmly. Avoid treating conversations like debates that must produce winners. People are more willing to consider your ideas when they feel respected. The purpose of disagreement should be discovering better understanding, not proving superiority. Develop everyday confidence. Confidence is not created during important social events. It is built through ordinary daily interactions. Talk briefly with cashiers. Thank service workers sincerely. Ask neighbors how they are doing. Practice making eye contact. Smile naturally. Ask simple questions. Every positive interaction trains your brain to become more comfortable around people. Small successes gradually replace fear with familiarity. Accept that not every conversation will be amazing. Some conversations naturally end quickly. Some personalities simply do not connect. Some people are tired, distracted, or having a difficult day. Do not assume every unsuccessful interaction reflects your worth. Social intelligence includes realistic expectations. Your job is to communicate well. You cannot control how every person responds. Judging yourself after every conversation only increases anxiety. Instead, evaluate your progress over weeks and months rather than individual moments. Build a reputation people trust. Long-term social success is not based on charisma alone. It is based on reliability. Keep your promises. Arrive when you say you will. Respect people's time. Avoid gossip. Celebrate other people's achievements without jealousy. Admit when you do not know something. Apologize sincerely when necessary. These habits quietly build trust. Trust creates stronger relationships than clever conversation ever will. People are naturally drawn toward individuals who make them feel emotionally safe. Final notes. Social intelligence is not about becoming popular with everyone. It is about becoming someone who communicates with clarity, empathy, confidence, and emotional awareness. Awkwardness usually disappears when your attention shifts away from yourself and toward understanding others. Instead of worrying about every sentence, focus on creating conversations where people feel respected, comfortable, and genuinely heard. Remember that confidence is rarely a starting point. It is usually the result of repeated action. Every conversation teaches you something. Every interaction improves your awareness. Every small improvement makes the next conversation easier. Do not measure success by whether everyone likes you. Measure success by whether you listened well, spoke honestly, remained calm, and treated others with respect. Those habits create lasting social intelligence. Over time, people will not remember every word you said. They will remember that talking with you felt easy, comfortable, and meaningful. That is what it truly means to become socially smart.